There's a lot of keto information out there. So I wanted to go ahead and make something simple, a beginner's keto meal plan. Something that takes the principles that I apply when it comes down to the ketogenic lifestyle and put them into a really simple meal plan that you can follow. Now, this isn't going to give you a lot of different variety, isn't going to give you a lot of different options for each individual meal, but if you're looking to get started on keto and you really just don't know where to go, well, this is going to be a great place to start. So I'm going to break down some of the why, but I'm also going to break down the science, and I'm going to break down really what you should be doing and a little bit more of your timing in addition to just telling you what to eat. So it's going to be pretty in-depth, but you're going to have what you need and you're going to have the basics to get started today. One thing to note with this video is for informational purposes only. Whenever I put anything that starts talking about a little bit more specific amounts, it's important that you know that this is broad and for just general purposes. So you can adjust this however you need to. This is not an intended diet plan for anybody. It's to give you a baseline and a foundation so that you have an understanding of what a beginner meal plan would look like on keto. You're tuned into the internet's leading fat loss channel with new videos on Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday at 7 a.m. Pacific time and a bunch of other videos throughout the week as well. Please hit that red subscribe button and then hit that little bell button so you can turn on notifications so you know whenever I go live. All right, let's go ahead and dive right in. So there's a few things that I want to lay down as groundwork first. If you're just getting started to keto, these are important things that you know. Okay, first of all, don't worry about measuring your ketones. When you're first getting started, just don't worry about it, honestly. As you get further and further down the keto train, then you can start worrying about it. But right now, I want you to just focus on the food, okay? It's not gonna matter right now too much. Second of all, keto flu. If you're just getting started on keto, you might experience the keto flu. All that is an electrolyte imbalance for the most part. People will go down some rabbit holes and explain it in more in-depth ways, but the fact is, it's simple. It really is your electrolytes getting out of whack because as your body is adjusting to lower carbohydrates, your kidneys tend to expel extra water, so you become sodium deficient, you become a little bit magnesium deficient, and you feel wonky and you feel fatigued. Simple way to combat that, add more salt. We'll talk about that as we go. Don't overdo the fats. A lot of people will tell you when you're first starting a keto diet to just go hog wild on the fats. Honestly, that's a quick way to gain weight. So let's not worry about that. I want you to follow what I laid out here. It's going to give you the perfect ratios. It's going to give you my whole formula. Okay. Then don't worry about too much protein. Okay. Only in specific circumstances do you need to worry about having too much protein, okay? We're not gonna worry about those as beginners. We're not gonna worry about those situations. It's okay to have the protein. Plus, I'm laying it out for you right here. Now, you're gonna see some common themes with this. You're gonna see that there's not dairy here. Why? Because I want you to get into keto in what I consider an anti-inflammatory state. I want you to get into keto in a clean way. We're not doing dirty keto here. This is what I would say is a good protocol to get optimal results from the ketogenic diet in as little time as humanly possible. So let's jump right into breakfast. Breakfast, I'm gonna have be your highest fat meal of the day. I'm having it be your highest fat meal of the day because believe it or not, your body tends to store less fat in the morning. And it does this because your fat cells are a little bit more insulin resistant in the morning and your muscle cells are insulin sensitive. So in the morning, you have less potential for fat that you consume to store as fat. So let's keep breakfast nice and high fat. It's a great way to start our keto journey. So I want you to do 1 whole egg plus 2 yolks. Okay, the reason we're doing 2 yolks in there, 2 to 3 yolks, depending on the size, you can go 2 to 3. Okay, we want more of the fat from the yolk. We don't necessarily want the extra protein and the inflammatory albumin from the white. Okay, so have 1 egg and add 2 to 3 extra yolks. You can give the whites to the dogs. The albumin is actually pretty good for them. Okay, then I want 4 slices of turkey bacon. You can do regular bacon if you can get your hands on good quality bacon, but I'm saying this for the general masses as a beginner. If you go with turkey bacon, it's a little bit cleaner generally. Okay, so go for that. Then I want you to add 1 ounce of peely nuts or walnuts. Peely nuts are very high fat, super low carb, and walnuts are really high quality too, and they're high omega-3, but most importantly, neither of these nuts have high levels of phytates. I'm not gonna go into detail there, but essentially phytates can mess up absorption and mess up mineralization of things. So let's just go ahead and leave peely nuts or walnuts. And it doesn't matter if they're roasted or if they're raw in this case. Then I want you to go ahead, if you have coffee, this is optional, have a cup of coffee, but take 3 tablespoons of coconut cream. That's the high-fat coconut milk you get out of a can. I don't want you to use half and half here. If you have to, a substitute for that would be like 2 tablespoons of heavy cream. Don't use half and half, has more milk in it. Milk's more inflammatory than the cream itself, because cream is more just the fat. But I prefer you use just the coconut from a can. It's high fat and it's much better quality. Now, optional is going to be 250 milligrams of magnesium plus some theanine. Okay, so that's just gonna help keep you balanced. You don't have to worry about that. 250 milligrams magnesium, just get some on Amazon. Okay, so this breakfast is gonna be 4 to 8 grams of carbs, 45 grams of fat, and between 400 and 500 calories total. So overall, what we're talking about here is a basic 2,000 calorie diet or so. I figure 2,000 calories is a great place to kind of base around. So we're sitting about 1,800 to 2,000 calories with this meal plan, give or take. Rough estimates, again, it's to get you started. It's not to be super critical, okay? Please don't hate on me. Okay, so then we move in to the next period where I want to explain, do not snack. What's really important in between meals with keto is not to snack. Every time we eat, whether we eat carbs, whether we eat fats, or whether we eat protein, we have an insulin spike when we eat, however small. But that insulin spike turns off glucagon, and that glucagon is what turns on cyclic adenosine monophosphate, which is what allows us to burn fat. If we don't have glucagon activated, we don't burn fat between our meals. So remember, we're priming our pump with ketosis. We're getting all the fat in our system, so our body is used to using fats, and then we deprive ourselves of fats and calories for a little bit of time, so the body has no choice but to try to burn it from your stored fat. If you're constantly eating, your body never has an opportunity to pull it from your stored tissue. So we need to make sure we are strict with the no snacking. But add some salt to your water. I know it sounds crazy, but when you're first starting out, add some salt to your water in between your meals. Like you can add a half a teaspoon up to like a half a teaspoon per half gallon. So do the math there, a quarter teaspoon for a quart. What's interesting is not only is it going to help you out with the keto flu, but it's going to help you out with something that are called your NST receptors. And we have wires that get crossed. A lot of times when we have cravings, especially cravings for sweets, we're actually craving salt. And we have NST receptors that get their signals crossed. So we're craving sweets, but really our body wants salt. So having some salt water actually helps. Yeah, and it doesn't have to make it like, you don't have to make it super salty. It doesn't have to taste salty, just add some salt. I wanted to add also, if breakfast is not something you're into, if you're an on-the-go type person, there is an option for you. You can do keto coffee as an alternative, just so you know. And you can sip on that a little bit more. Coffee, like 8 to 12 ounces, 1 tablespoon of ghee, organic ghee, 1 to 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, okay, 2 tablespoons of that same coconut cream out of the can, and then salt, because again, just a little bit of salt, we just want a pinch. And then optional, a scoop of collagen. Okay, this is just gonna get you a little bit more protein, get you a little bit more substance. That's totally optional. Okay, so now let's go ahead and let's move into lunch. Lunch is some interesting stuff. And here's the thing, with lunch, we actually reduce the fats. Remember how with breakfast, we kept the fats really high because we're priming the pump and we have the flexibility metabolically with insulin resistance to do so? Well, with lunch, I'm bringing the fats down so that we spiked our body, getting used to fats, and now we're pulling it away, depriving the body of fats a little bit, going slightly higher protein, so the body has no choice but to want to pull fat from the tissue. Okay, there's a strategic reason to this. I call it the protein sandwich hypothesis, but it's complex. Don't worry about it for this beginner video. Okay, what we want is 6 to 8 ounces of lean meat, preferably lean chicken. Okay, lean red meat would be okay, but I ideally do want you to have lean chicken here, okay? It's very important that you keep it lean, whatever you choose. 4 tablespoons of guacamole. Essentially what we're making here is we're gonna make either a taco salad or a burrito bowl, okay? And trust me, it tastes good. You could go to Chipotle and you could make this meal. So if you're on the go, that's why I set it up like this, because I figured if you're on the go, you could make this meal. So 4 tablespoons of guacamole or 4 tablespoons of mashed avocado, or that would be about a half of an avocado, medium-sized avocado if you don't like the taste of actual guac. Add some pico de gallo, some salsa to taste. Then you're gonna go with 2 tablespoons, this is wild here, right? 2 tablespoons of non-fat Greek yogurt instead of sour cream. Okay, sour cream is a little bit less healthy than Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt's strained a little bit more, and you may think I'm crazy for this, but Greek yogurt tastes like sour cream when it's in a taco salad or a burrito bowl. Trust me, you won't know the difference. If you go to Chipotle, I'm okay with you having the sour cream. It's a small amount of dairy. I'm okay with it in this case. Obviously, Greek yogurt is dairy too, but it's a little bit better because you have a little bit more of the cultured effect. Then you get the sauteed fajita veggies. Listen to me very carefully here. So you're gonna have these, there's like onions and peppers and things like that all sauteed, right? They're sauteed in oil. If you're making this at home, saute them in coconut oil or palm oil. Palm oil has some great benefits, palmitoleic acid, so really good stuff. So palm oil or coconut oil. What's really important, if you go out to eat, pull the bell peppers out. Okay, the bell peppers are very high in fructose. They are a high carbohydrate veggie and it will throw off your numbers. Okay, so we don't want that. We're gonna end up with an extra 10 grams of carbs just from bell peppers. But we can still cook it there if we still want that bell pepper flavor. I just don't want the sugar from the actual bell peppers themselves. Okay, then I want you to add some greens. I want you to add some broccoli. I want you to add something into the mix, okay? Even if it's just some sauteed spinach, try to get some greens in there. If you can't, it's not the end of the world. I just would prefer it. So this meal ends up being about 9 to 12 grams of carbs, about 20 grams of fat, and again, another 400 to 500 calories. So we're sitting pretty here. Most of the calories in this case are coming from an increase in protein. We're almost double the amount of protein with lunch than we were with breakfast. Okay, so then in between lunch and dinner, this is where I like to have a little bit of decaf green tea because I still get some of the EGCG benefit of green tea. That's the antioxidant and the catechins in green tea, but I don't get it with the caffeine. And the other thing that I'll do is I'll make an ACV drink, an apple cider vinegar drink. It helps digest. So what I'll do is I'll take like 12 ounces of water. I'll take a little bit of apple cider vinegar, like 2 tablespoons. I'll put a couple drops of stevia in to sweeten it. Okay, and then sometimes I'll either put a little bit of ginger juice or a little bit of lemon juice in there and make a nice, almost like lemonade type drink. And it really does help me digest. You can put a little monk fruit, a little bit of stevia to sweeten up, however you like. It really does help, and it will get you through that, again, that lunch period, or that period between lunch and dinner. It's a very important time period that you are not snacking once again, okay? Which leads us to dinner. Dinner is where you get to have a little bit more fun, okay? 4 to 6 ounce filet. Have a nice steak. Have a New York, have a filet, something with a little bit more fat, but try to avoid a ribeye in this case because I don't want the super high fats. Again, I'm a big fan of keeping the fats somewhat controlled. Here's the thing, with a filet, the difference between 3 different fillets, you're gonna have maybe a difference in 3 to 4 grams of fat per filet. If you get 3 different ribeyes in front of you, one could have 20 grams of fat, one could have 30, and one could have 40. It all depends on the marbling. It's too hard to determine how many calories you get when you're first getting started. Again, once you get established with keto, I'm okay with this, but remember, we're getting started and I want you to have success here. So use those. And the nice thing is you really want to make sure that you're focusing on getting high omega-3 fats, okay, high omega-3 beef. So what that means is grass-fed, grass-finished meat. That is very, very, very important. Omega-3s in excess don't store as fat. They store as phospholipid bilayers. They support our membrane. So we can overeat on those fats and have a little bit more flexibility. So this is just so that you know, if you're watching this video, there is a link down in the description that gets anyone watching this video a special discount on what is called Butcher Box. Okay, so Butcher Box is a meal delivery meat service. So essentially they have grass-fed, grass-finished meat that they will deliver right to your doorstep, and it's cheaper than what you would pay at the grocery store for grass-fed, grass-finished. So really high quality stuff with high omega-3 content. So honestly, you got nothing to lose because it's cheaper than the grocery store, but better yet, there's a discount for anyone watching this video down in the description. So check it out after you finish watching this video because I'm gonna give you more tips here. Okay, the other thing that you can do is you could have salmon. It's a good time to get those omega-3s from salmon. Butcher Box has that as well. Okay, then I want you to have 1 cup of cauliflower rice or mashed cauliflower. And you can add a tablespoon of butter to that, or you can add a couple tablespoons of oil, just in general, coconut oil, palm oil. The reason that I want you to use cauliflower rice or cauliflower mash is because the cruciferous vegetables have a high degree of estrogen modulation effects in the body. So it's gonna help you drop some of that excess water. When you're first getting started on keto, you wanna get rid of that water weight. You want your body running nice and clean. You don't want a lot of inflammation. It's going to work well, trust me on that. 1 cup of rice cauliflower sounds like a lot, but it's not that much, especially if you're putting a tablespoon of butter on it. It tastes really good, okay? Tablespoon of butter, tablespoon of ghee, or a couple tablespoons of oil. One thing I would recommend, if you like asparagus, cook up asparagus, chop it up into like little 1/2-inch chunks and mix it into your rice or your cauliflower mash. Then what you're doing is you're getting the prebiotic fiber effect from the asparagus. It's gonna help you digest a little bit. And it's gonna help build the gut bacteria up for your new style of eating. Every time you start a new style of eating, your gut bacteria migrates and shifts and tries to adapt. Now, prebiotic fibers that are in asparagus and artichoke help that gut bacteria grow. It's fertilizer. So as soon as you have new bacteria coming in, it's gonna help it grow, help it fertilize, and help it really develop. So we want that, and that's really, really powerful there. And if you mix it in there, it tastes really good. You can make a bunch of that ahead of time, have it for the week. Then some extra fats. I usually say like add 12, 15 pork rinds in there. Get yourself a crunch. What I don't want you to do is end up resenting the keto diet in 2 or 3 weeks because you missed the crunch. You missed the craving of a crunch. Pork rinds will help you there. Or if you don't want to do pork rinds, do an ounce of macadamia nuts. So here we're looking 35 to 40 grams of fat, 5 grams of carbs, and again, close to 500 calories. We brought the fat back up, but we still have the protein decently high. Then we move into a little pre-bed snack, a little pre-bed treat. And this is just a good high-fat snack. It's something that I've coined. I would almost claim it as my drink because I've been talking about it for years. I call it my chocolate moo-moos, where I make it up with some almond milk. I'll explain it in 1 second. So basically I take 12 ounces of almond milk, and then I take a few tablespoons of cocoa or cacao, unsweetened baking cocoa, the powder, or straight raw cacao powder. Mix it up. Okay, then I take 3 tablespoons again of that coconut cream out of the can, the high-fat stuff. If you put it in the refrigerator and you scoop it, it should be a solid. If it stays a liquid, you got the wrong kind, okay? It's the high-fat stuff. Then I want 2 tablespoons of almond butter on the side. So let's not talk about that for a second. The drink, then I want you to mix that all up and you add some stevia to it to taste. I didn't list the stevia there because everyone's different with how sweet they want it. Stevia, monk fruit, make it a hot chocolate that is high-fat. It's great, adds a few hundred calories, and it's perfect. Then 2 tablespoons of almond butter on the side. Your high-fat, low-protein right before bed, just to give your liver the fuel that it needs to continue to produce ketones, and voila, the next day you start over again. Quick touch on supplements. I don't want to make this video too heavy on supplements simply because it's a rabbit hole that we could go down and it could take forever. But essentially, of the supplements that you should be taking when you first start a ketogenic diet, fish oil, high-quality omega-3s, the same reason why we're using high-quality cuts of meat like we are from Butcher Bucks. Coenzyme Q10 helps the mitochondrial function. Costco has great CoQ10. It's inexpensive. Just pick some up at Costco, pick some up on Amazon. Don't worry, don't concern yourself with the type of brand right now. We can get down that rabbit hole again later. Vitamin D3, really important for the immune system. So I'd say, I can't tell you exact dosages, but those are the 3 things in addition to magnesium. So there you have it, guys and gals, the basic beginner keto meal plan. I know, again, I'm not giving you options for each meal, but this is how you get started. And you can at least take these macronutrients and break them down a little bit if you need to. But if you use this as a baseline, you will get into ketosis and you will have success in an anti-inflammatory way. And honestly, I think you will have a lot of fun with it too. And please, 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 I encourage you to subscribe to this channel. That way you never miss a beat. You always see my videos, whether they're keto, fasting, or just general health related. And I think you're gonna get a lot of help out of it. So as always, keep it locked in. If you have questions, put them in the comment section below, and I'll see you soon.